Prepare to experience the strongest radio allowable by law. Secrets will be revealed. Myths dispelled. From the studio gym where excuses never apply, it's Superhuman Radio with your host, Carl Lenore.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Superhuman Radio. And contrary to what people think, it's not cold here in Louisville, Kentucky. I have this hoodie on, which, by the way, smells like race fuel because I splashed some race fuel on it when I was running my bike the other day. Because I keep forgetting the rules of green screen. So I wore a yellow shirt today, but as you can see, I look like the Invisible Man underneath the hoodie. So I had to resort to wearing this hoodie today. And then, by the way, the smell is noxious. I keep getting hit in the face with the smell of racing fuel. We have a really good show for you today. I say that all the time, but the truth is I really do believe that we have really good shows. This one is especially important for two reasons. Number one, because of the concept, and number two, because of the product. And we talk all the time about individualized medicine, how it's the new standard. Like if your doctor's just treating you like every other patient, they're wrong. Different people respond to different things. We know that's true from a dietary standpoint, from a drug standpoint. We are not one size fits all. But it's interesting to me that the supplement industry has really like dodged that bullet completely, right? They still believe that everybody should just use this form of creatine or something like that. And there are companies now that are really getting it, and they're getting it where it really matters. I'm not talking about taking like vitamins and minerals, but there are certain things in the supplement world that we have a large number of non-responders. 10 people try this, and I'm talking about nootropics today because this is the elusive one, right? I remember taking phenylpiracetam back in the day and all of these cognitive enhancers and not noticing much of anything at all. And I thought, what's wrong with me? Everybody else says how great this stuff is, and it doesn't do anything for me. And then I started to realize that not everything works for everyone. And there's really very few ways to kind of triangulate what works for you and what doesn't. And that's about to change. The folks at Bioptimizers are about to embark on a very exciting and promising area of supplementation. And that is, they respect the fact that you're different. They respect the fact that not everything that works for everybody else works for you, but they have taken the time to create a way to individualize nootropic supplementation. And to me, this is really exciting, because for a long time, I've always thought nootropics were just bullshit because most of them didn't do anything for me. And then they do work for my friends. Now we know why. Before we get started, I have to thank my title sponsor, and that is Legendary Foods, makers of the Tasty Pastry, the end of the Pop-Tart. Now it's the Tasty Pastry, less than 1 gram of sugar, 20 grams of high-quality protein, 4 to 5 net carbs if you're a net carb keto person. Go to shrnetwork.biz/legendary. Use the code SHR10 to save 10% off. I promise you will not be disappointed with anything that comes out of the Legendary Foods kitchen. Stay tuned. We're going to bring on one of my favorite guests, and that is Wade Lightheart. Hey, Wade, how you doing?
Great to be here. I am so pumped up about this because this has been a little secret inside of Bioptimizers for about the last year. And it's snuck out to a variety of high performers in a lot of different areas. And we literally have not spent any time, effort, and energy promoting what we've been able to do in the nootropic areas. Like massive breakthroughs have happened. And we're literally signing the lease on our third factory in the last year, the third facility to meet the demand of what's happening with what we're going to talk about today. Individualized, customized, personalized cognitive enhancement for not just one singular state, but a variety of states that people want to achieve, because cognitive performance is not a single lane highway. There's a lot of different directions you can go at, and I'm delighted that I can finally speak about this on your show for the very first time. I've been talking about nootropics, Nootopia, customized nootropic enhancement, cognitive enhancement. So very first time, and I clawed my way to the team to say, can I get on Carl's show and talk about this today for the first time? And today's the day, so we're excited.
Now, Matt Gallant is really with the genesis of this product, right? Because he's been fascinated with his own brain, and he's literally spent hundreds of thousands of dollars not only researching, but actually showing up at labs where they do all of these cognitive experiments. And, I've seen him with the light diode up his nose and all that sort of stuff. But because of his own fascination with his own brain, he unlocked a lot of these secrets, didn't he?
Yeah, and what I'll back the truck up a little bit. So Matt and I have been in business for 20 years, and Matt, I would say, is he's an extraordinary learner. He's very good at learning. And he was always looking at ways of improving the efficiency of learning so that he could keep up with the rate of change that we're all struggling to maintain. And him and I had experimented with a variety of chemicals and agents and nootropic factors. And I mean, we would be capping up various types of aracetams and paracetams and antiracetams and stuff, and they taste like garbage. We drank a ketogenic stuff that tasted like jet fuel. You talk about what smells. You ever try and drink something like that? We did herbs. We experimented with psychedelics, mushrooms, you name it. And many of those experiments were a fail. And then a little over a decade ago, I had the good fortune of going to a neurofeedback company in Sedona, Arizona. And in this neurofeedback, I was able to get an external feedback loop on your brain. And in going through various measures, we could actually measure and then be able to get definitive proof that you could improve your brain. I told Matt about Matt came out, we went again. And that set in motion, oh my God, we can change our brain physiology. But as we changed our brain physiology, and then we went to Dave Asprey's 40 Years of Zen, I highly recommend that to anybody. I think it's absolutely extraordinary. So there's two aspects to cognitive function that we need to identify in brain performance. One is the neurophysiology, the literally axon dendrite connections that go to different parts of the brain for different functions. So the ability to paint beautiful art is different than the aspect of executive function, how it lights up your brain, what it requires, etc., or verbal communication. There's a correlative neurophysiology for any one of those particular skill sets that we have in our brain. And we can talk about how you develop it. The other side of the equation is the actual neurochemistry that's involved, the transmission medium that allows you to access the brain state that you desire. So cognitive, all of our experiences cognitively are related to those two states, the physiology and the chemistry. Now, in the modern world, we're dealing with things like phones. Now, what this technology, which is so amazing and powerful, which allows us to communicate today, which is awesome, but it has a big downside in that how we connect our axon dendrite connections is through like dopagenic mechanisms. In other words, you release dopamine by learning to throw a spear more and more efficiently. That's why you throw it. You can't hit nothing. You keep practicing and practicing. And there's a cognitive refinement that goes on. And the production of dopamine, which is a sense of satisfaction of every time that you close the loop on that axon dendrite connection in your brain, you increase the efficiency of that movement. You can apply the same thing in creativity through another chemical and generated process. And I won't get into all the nuances of that. But when we start using phones and we get an input response, we hit the phone again, we respond again, and we go for another like again or whatever. Well, we begin to deplete various neurochemicals in the brain, which are associated with different moods and brain states and performance levels. Okay, so what's the problem with that? Well, tapping on your phone is not the same as your ability to provide food for your family. But to your brain chemistry, it doesn't know the difference.
Oh, that's something. That's an interesting thing to think about.
Right?
Really.
So what we're experiencing, so I've identified, so we were looking at ways that we could replenish the neurochemistry, because particularly if you look at people who come off addiction, okay, they have a depletion in the neurochemicals that were driving them to addiction. If we look at people who have dysregulated neurochemistry that are leading to psychological conditions, low mood or anxiety or depression, or neurochemical imbalances, we hear about this which are exacerbating in modern world.
No, wait. I believe strongly that all chronic fatigue starts here. There are people who have chronic fatigue. Oh, I'm weak. But it all starts here. It starts in the brain. So go ahead. And it probably has something to do with the fact that we are depleting chemicals that aren't capable of modern life in the brain.
That's right. Exactly. So to simplify this for your listeners, I would say there's 3 things that you need to understand to optimize your brain chemistry, or to kind of figure your way out of a compromised brain state. Like maybe you have low focus now. You can't concentrate for long periods. You're not as creative as you used to. You don't feel great all the time when you wake up. You have a low mood. So there's neurochemical dominance, right? So Charles Poliquin, who I refer to oftentimes as the great coach who coached 27 gold medal in 27 different sports. He trained gold medal Olympic athletes and the who's who of sports. He would give people a Braverman test, which is a neurochemical dominance test. And if they didn't have dopamine and acetylcholine as their primary dominant chemicals, he wouldn't coach them. He's like, there's no way you're going to be an Olympic athlete, because you will not be able to have the reward systems to hit to the highest levels of performance. And you're not going to be able to sustain hyper levels of focus for extended periods of time if those aren't your dominant neurochemicals. Now, that doesn't mean that if you do those things that you're going to be a great artist. You probably won't be. You might need, serotonin and GABA in a higher level, or if you want to write music or enter into flow. So it's different.
Right.
So the first thing you need to identify is what's your neurochemical dominance. And I'm going to show people how to do this today. The second thing that you want to identify is what neurochemicals are you deficient in? Now, that could be related to your diet. It could be related to your lifestyle, whether that's using technology too much, whether that is, staying locked into a sedentary lifestyle, not having something where you're producing.
What about the 5 million pound gorilla in the room, the overcaffeination of our population?
And I would say the overchemicalization. We have a variety of neurochemicals which have been added to food and our digestive systems, which are designed to mimic key elements and nutrients that our bodies and brains need to operate, but are chemical, like fake replacements for those. Just like you have fake friends on Facebook that aren't your real friends. They just appear as friends in the comment, but you don't actually have a personal interactive relations that give you the same feedback loops that you would under normal biological conditions that we have evolved through over, millions of years. So what are you deficient in? And much of your show is talking about key elements and things that you can do to fill deficiencies. Now, the third stage, which has happened as a large part of modern lifestyles and rapid technological advancement, is what are you depleted? So I talked about, hey, I keep scrolling on my phone and wasting my most precious resource time, hitting likes or doing this. Why am I addicted to doing that, let's say? Well, that's because I'm on a dopamine loop. And so instead of learning a skill that leads to my life is better, I'm just getting a dopamine loop that's just giving me the response in my brain that I'm getting something of value, but I'm just wasting my time. And I've tricked myself into this.
That's this is an amazing discussion. I hope people are paying attention to this, because what we're talking about here is to stay with the feeding myself. It's like you hunting all day and coming home with paper and eating paper. It's not food. This is amazing. When we look at diseases of modernity, they all result from us using adulterated replacements for things that we really need in our life. It's really amazing. Go ahead. I'm sorry. This is fascinating.
No, it's so we looked at how could we fulfill the neurochemical needs to enhance our natural dominant capabilities and skill sets that we have. How could we address the depletion of those neurochemicals so that we could be able to produce results faster and better? And then the third place is, how could we experience a wider range of cognitive states and capabilities by filling up areas of our neurochemical well that we weren't able to address? And we were working on this for years.
And quite frankly, to provide what we need in this modern world. Our brains weren't designed to keep reproducing these neurochemicals at the rapid rate that we need today, because our lives are so much different. We're overstimulated, and then we get depleted.
Correct. The complexity of a technologically advanced life forces an adaptive challenge. Mm-hmm. And I believe that we've been able to discover a way, we have our chief neurochemist, creator, who we affectionately call Mr. Newts, as in nootropics,
right?
Who we'll probably bring on the show in a future episode where we can dive deeper into the chemistry and the creation. Right. But I want to get the basics down now and show people that these are the challenges of the modern era. And the adaptive response of humanity to be superhuman in today's world needs that you need to address these needs. And we've figured out how to do it, and I'm excited to share it.
Well, not only have you figured out how to do it, but this is so complicated that most companies would just give up and go, it's just not possible. I mean, there's all of these moving parts. And how do we get people to cooperate with all of these moving parts? I could see that you probably launched into this thinking that we could fail. And it's not because the product doesn't address the real problems, but it's because it's so complex. You individualizing nootropics. I mean, I took the test and let me put this website up real quick. Hold on a second. So I actually took the test, and I've seen tests before that are designed to, like, there was a company that wanted to advertise on the show, and it was a sleep product, and it was a multi-formula sleep product, and you went through all of these questions, and most of the questions were pretty bogus, like, do you like to sleep? Do you, like they were like questions that you'd go, come on, give me some real questions here. And what they gave you was what they intended to give you from the beginning, but they just styled their pitch to fit your comments. But this is different. I mean, the questions that were asked, and people are going to go, oh man, do I have to fill out this questionnaire? Yeah, if you want it to work, absolutely. But the questions that were asked were very specific. Like, oh shit, they've done some research into people and the phenomenon that we're experiencing today. If you want to learn more about this, go to Nootopia, Nootopia.com/SHR. We are offering some of the deepest discounts, depending on which blend you sign up for. You can save up to 50% off. And keep in mind, this isn't a capsule. It's not like, okay, we blended it for you. Here's your capsule. Take 2 of these a day. This is a lot more complex than that. And rightfully so, because as humans, we are pretty complex. Again, it's Nootopia, Nootopia.com/SHR. Use the code SHR to save up to 50% off. Okay, let's get back on the topic here. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem. So now, and it started, Matt and I started to notice when we were crushing up different types of raw materials and taking these horrible tasting things. And he would like certain products, and I would hate that product. And I would take another product, and I loved it, and he felt nothing. And so just between the two of us, because our brain chemistries are very different, Matt and I, we have different diets, different dietary philosophies, different methodology. We're very opposing in some areas.
Right.
We were very clear. Well, here's an N of 2, and we've got massive variance. What if we added N of 5? And we did. We started with our executive team, and then we expanded to N of 10 and N of 20, and we started to see variances. So then we started taking Braverman tests, and we had all the people take Braverman tests. And a Braverman it was kind of like the standard state-of-the-art test that derived a variety of questions towards you that would be able to indicate neurochemical dominance without actually looking at your brain chemistry.
Right, without drawing blood or anything for that matter. Right.
Correct. And because it's so deeply associated with behavior. This is the cool part. You can reverse engineer from behavior and tendencies what the average person's neurochemistry is. Wow. So that's fascinating in itself. Well, once we got all that, we were like, how do we, so number one, how do we develop formulas for these particular neurochemical states? And we ran into Mark, who, interesting enough, this is a great story. Mark, his family, he's a super genius. He's kind of like, he's built 17 different startup companies. He's done battery-powered cars, lasers, exercise device. This guy is he's a very unique person, extremely creative, not necessarily geared for entrepreneurship in the sense that he could start things, but maintain. He's on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And so he was fixing the neurochemistry of tech executives in San Francisco who had blown themselves out from modafinil, Adderall, and Burning Man. And when I say Burning Man, all the chemicals that are associated with the burner, and then a high stress lifestyle. And so he was fixing their neurochemistry because he had to fix his own from a variety of conditions. And so he had all these who's who people coming to see him. And he had this little company that had 500 products on the website that didn't make any sense and were all over the place. And then he was dealing one person at a time doing this. And so what we did is we met with them. We tried some of his stuff for us, which we were able to gear for our individual. We were like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. But you'll never be successful with trying to build customized system. So then Matt and myself and the team worked on building a mini Braverman test, which you alluded to, where you can figure out your basic neurochemistry, developed a variety of formulas that would address the various neurochemical states that led to, happiness, focus, verbal fluency, lucid kind of Zen states, all these things. And the elements that would build that, which Mark had figured out, we put them into categories. And then through that testing and experimentation, we figured out how we could have a feedback loop where the customer put in an app, tested each product that was designed for their feedback form, and then tweaked that formula based on how they felt. So over the course of, say, a couple of months, we could take that feedback to change and optimize the specific formulation for that person. Now that caught on really quickly because the performance levels were great. Everybody that has ever taken a nootropic in their life tried ours and like, oh my God, this is a million times better. And then we kept making it better for them as they got more information. And I'm going to show you some of these things here in a minute about what we've been able to do. And it's so exciting because now we can literally get the brain state you want on demand.
This is really phenomenal. It really is. So I have stopped drinking coffee, but the reality is that I continue to abuse caffeine. And so I've always thought from the Braverman standpoint that I am dopamine dominant because that's why I gravitate to. When I was a kid, I liked amphetamines when everybody else was doing downers, Quaaludes and stuff. I wanted to be up. I wanted to be energetic. I loved cocaine. I've always loved things that made me up. But now caffeine doesn't do anything for me. And I've had 300 milligrams this morning, and I could probably take a nap in an hour if I wanted to. So I feel like I know what my problem is. I feel like I have to stop the caffeine and let the dopamine replete in my brain because I feel like I've squeezed every drop of it out of my brain by now. But the problem is I would literally have to check into a Betty Ford where I don't have any of the things I have to deal with on a day-to-day basis that make me go, oh, I need some caffeine or I'm not going to be able to get through the day. So can I replete the neurochemicals that I have vanquished in my brain just simply by using this the product designed for me day after day? And if so, how long will I come back where I literally tell people I feel tired in my brain most of the time? I just feel, tired.
Not only can you replete, I would say that you can optimize. And what we've noticed by people, for example, when I went on this for the first 3 months, my cognitive capabilities went up so much I was shocked. And then after 3 months, I noticed I couldn't wait to wake up in the morning and take my nootropic stack. And then I was like, well, am I becoming dependent or addicted to this? So I stopped everything for 2 months. I didn't take anything. Not only did I not feel a withdrawal symptom, which was interesting, but the second thing is my cognitive performance, I believe, dropped off about 10%. That's just an arbitrary assessment about brain speed, connectivity. I also look at how many times I will miss words or repeat myself or say or or whatever. That's a checkpoint. These are cognitive checkpoints that you can use in your own body. Sleep times, how I felt first thing in the morning. Did I feel foggy? Did I feel clear? So I felt a 10% drop. And by the end of the second month, I estimated it was approximately a 20%, but I felt I was getting 50% still better. And that led to me to conclude that we were actually filling up the neurochemical reserves inside the body that allowed me to maintain high levels of performance even after I stopped the product.
I am so excited.
Good nutrition.
I'm so excited about this product for me personally. I have to tell you that that it's really ponderous for me, because most days I wake up and I really never wake up throughout the whole day, and even caffeine doesn't get me out of it anymore. And so I feel like I've burned my brain. I really do. And I'm so excited about this because I need like resuscitation. I need those neurochemicals to be replenished now.
Well, we all do, and this becomes a factor when we're aging, and that is the big thing of cognitive decline. Let me just show you something right here. So one of my favorite products for people who are looking to be focused. Now check out, to talk about individualization, I'm going to show this up to the camera. Now see this pill. You can see there are different levels of different substances. There's 2 reasons. This is called focus savagery. This is for hyper focus for extended periods of times, people that struggle with focus. Now inside of that, these capsules will be taken up. The different levels are designed for the specific amounts of neurochemicals and precursors that I need to enhance my brain. Right? So if your capsule would actually look a little bit different because it's been customized for your brain.
Right.
Now let me show you another one here. Which one am I looking at? So here's Brain Flow. Now here's something you've never seen before. I was just at Expo West. And we were looking for manufacturers that could assist us because we're with robotic engineering that would allow us to build these. They had nobody that could do this. Check this out. That is a pill within a pill.
Oh, wow.
Now, the reason why that is because you need a certain amount of oils to be delivered for this product. And then at another stage in the digestive tract, the next level of chemicals are going to be developed and utilized in a time. So the pill within the pill technology, these are all hand put together, inner factory for each individual.
So this is a combination of unique raw materials and precise delivery mechanisms.
That's right. So we're combining precise delivery mechanisms, engineering, customization, and then it gets better. It gets better because when you look at your 4 main if you look at dopamine, acetylcholine, GABA, and serotonin, kind of as the 4 horsemen of the neurochemical operations, and there's other aspects that are developed, but we're going to use those 4 for example. Not only do they correlate with the brain physiology they're doing, but they are present in various degrees for certain states. Like if you're in flow state, you know, so you'd say brain flow with Nectar X with Xamarin Juice as a spray. So you're in a flow state, you're kind of lucid and creative, but you have extreme verbal fluency and acuity. That's a great state if you want to make a song.
Right.
If you want to be hyper focused because you need to figure out your taxes, it's tax season and you're driving crazy bringing these things in, you might want to have focused savagery, right? If you've been partying all weekend and you've really depleted your neurochemicals because you're blowing it out hard, you might want to wake up in the morning and take mental Reboot, which is designed to replenish. And then before you go to bed at night, you take the PM version, which is going to help you get a deeper sleep and a more restful recap. We've provided, as you can see, the entire array of these that you select. And we walk people. Here's our box, right? This is your customized. This is the World Domination box, which is our most popular one, which is our best version. So inside of this, you get a book. And this book is going to walk you through each of the individual formulas, when you would use it, what it's for, and then walk you through it so that you can learn to mix and match. You try them first individually, and then you learn to mix and match to see what your formula is. You also punch it into the app, and then our team of neurochemists recalibrate your formula based on what your needs are for that month or that time. So this is like no other company, no other product, no other offering that's ever been created in this way. And I believe it's an adaptive response to an extremely challenging world that we live in today.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It really is brilliant. And you're absolutely right. We are so over our head, no pun intended, in things that affect our brain that we never had to deal with in millions of years, and it's only getting worse. So I could see this being a really, really important product. I want to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll discuss more about the product, how to get it, and we'll answer any questions that are out there. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Superhuman Radio. More than 240 million Americans take supplements daily in pill form, but poor nutrient absorption means the promised results are rarely achieved. Healthy Cell uses a clinically proven patent-pending gel delivery system that increases absorption by 165% over pill form. Go to shrnetwork.biz/healthycell. That's HEALTHYCELL today and use the code SHR to save 20% off your purchase of Healthy Cell supplements. Plant medicine has become all the rage for mental optimization. Now there's an ancient plant medicine rapidly growing in popularity that experts believe might just be the alcohol of the future. It's called True Kava. Kava is a natural food-grade elixir that has been used for over 3,000 years by South Pacific Islanders as safe, non-addictive alternative to drugs and alcohol. By naturally boosting the brain's main feel-good chemicals, dopamine, serotonin, and GABA, Kava provides you with both increased relaxation and mental clarity at the same time. True Kava is a new form of stabilized full-spectrum traditional Kava that is third-party lab tested for quality and safety. Go to shrnetwork.biz/true kava, and that's TRUKAVA, all one word, and use code SHR for 25% off today.
New Mass Pro Synthogen X2 just upped its own legendary game. To distance itself even further from the rest of the pack, Synthogen X2 now has double the key active ingredients. If you've ever wondered what steroid-like recovery feels like, Synthogen X2 delivers. See why others compare it favorably to powerful bodybuilding drugs at Synthogen.com. Mass Pro Synthogen. When you train with it, you'll gain with it.
If you'd like a shortcut to better sleep, more energy, and calmer, more stable moods, then you should make sure you're supplementing with magnesium daily. Let me tell you why. About 75% of people are magnesium deficient. This deficiency can lead to higher levels of anxiety, irritability, trouble sleeping, and low energy. It can even contribute to foot and leg cramps while you sleep. Magnesium Breakthrough by Bioptimizers is the single best magnesium supplement in the world. Simply take 2 capsules before you go to bed, and you'll be amazed by the improvements in your mood and energy levels, and how much more more rested you feel when you wake up. I take Magnesium Breakthrough every night, and I sleep better because I use it. Go to magbreakthrough.com/SHR and use the code SHR10 during checkout to save 10% off and get free shipping. Check it out. Most people have heard of phytoestrogens, but did you know there are beneficial phytoandrogens? The top source of these is pine pollen. It even contains trace amounts of testosterone and DHEA. If you're looking for a 100% natural testosterone booster, this is worth trying. Lots of men love it, and it even works for women. Lost Empire Herbs offers the highest quality wild harvested non-irradiated pine pollen backed by a 365-day money-back guarantee. It works for you, or you don't have to pay for it with nothing to send back. Go to shrnetwork.biz/Lost Empire. Use code SHR. Get 15% off your order today. I would easily say that I am the hugest proponent you will ever meet to doing anything that will improve the quality of my sleep. And that's because sleep is linked to just about every metabolic disorder we see in our population today. One of the easiest things you can do to improve the quality of your sleep is to get a pillow that can be shaped into the exact form factor that allows you to get your best night's sleep. And that is My Pillow. I've been sleeping with My Pillow for a few years now, and I can tell you that when I have to travel and stay in hotels, I don't get a good night's sleep because I don't have My Pillow with me. Right now, you can save up to 60% off of everything offered to improve the quality of your sleep at shrnetwork.biz/mypillow when you use the code SHR. Or you can call toll-free 800-889-4938. And remember to use code SHR to save up to 60% off of everything at their website.
This is the Superhuman Channel, doing reps with the weight of the world.
Welcome back to Superhuman Radio. We're talking with Wade Lightheart today. We're talking about this exciting development in the area of nootropics. You know, every week there's a new nootropic that comes out, and many of them just fail because people just don't notice anything from them. And that's because trying to make nootropics one size fits all is impossible. We not only all have different brain chemistry, we have different lifestyles. We have different things that are unique to us because of our lifestyles that may make us require one thing more than another. And most companies just use a bunch of caffeine to cover it up. So let's talk about the Braverman test. You said earlier that you can show people right now, the audience, how to determine whether they're dopamine dominant or, so how do you do that? How do they assess that?
We've actually, so Braverman was a psychologist and neurochemist. He ran into some problems recently, so I want to separate the man from the actual performance.
Okay.
But he was able to develop a test based on science that through answering a set of behavioral-based questions, you could determine what your basic brain chemistry was. Very, very unique. And what we did is we took that course and through meta-analysis, we're able to condense it down into a variety of areas. So when you go to the link that you provided here on the show, you'll take a mini Braverman test, which will give you some insight into particularly what neurochemicals are going to be best suited for you, the development of that. Now, when you're talking about nootropics, you have to understand the ideal development of nootropics is to be able to create not just straight neurochemistry. So if you're taking a drug, you're adding that element that gives you that response, but has a negative feedback loop and side effect that goes through the system as well, because it's not a natural formation of that. And that's why people have to switch their medications and things like that, because you build up tolerance, you have down regulation of receptors. What we do is we add the elements, the factors and precursors that get converted into the neurochemicals that allow you to experience that state. So we're leveraging through super nutrition, if you will, super brain nutrition delivered in an appropriate way into your natural digestive and neurochemical manufacturing to create the array of neurochemicals that allow you to create all those brain states. So that's the second phase of it. And like you mentioned, most people are using just hyperstimulants, right? And it's like if all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And that's how most people are approaching nootropics. Even if they work for a little bit, you run out, burn out, you run into adrenaline problems, or they don't work, or brain fatigue. you start depleting your natural state. We've completely reversed that. And then, so you take the test, you take the mini test on the site, nootopia.com/SHR. And then what's going to happen, you're going to get a report. And that report is going to suggest to you which things that we would feel would work best for you. You can talk to one of our agents. We'll have a phone call with you if you like. And from that, you'll determine which package you want to get. And then it's a couple of weeks to go through the design, and the product will get shipped out of you. And then you'll start your journey through testing each one of the products that we formulated for your brain. And your life will never be the same again.
It's so exciting. It really is exciting. So I get it. What you're saying is, and so most nootropics stimulate the overconsumption, the brain overconsumption of certain neurotransmitters to make you feel awake and so on. What you guys are doing is you're backloading the pathway and making the raw materials more available to the brain. So as the brain needs it, it creates it on demand, and all of a sudden the brain goes, "What?" I mean, it's like going from being broke to having millions of dollars in the bank. All of a sudden, you can buy those things and not worry or not crash and burn because you have the resources. So this increases the availability of the resources. Are there any stopgaps in that? Like, well, if you don't have these enzymes in the brain, it's not going to produce as much dopamine. Or have you spoken to those things as well that help keep the train moving?
Well, as you know, we've been known as a digestive health company for years and understand the delivery of nutrients into various parts of the body. And neurochemistry is very specific. And the great news is it was the perfect match between Mark and his ability and our company as a digestive health company. So it was like divine providence or something that brought us together to create these. And the third thing in regards to that is we developed a variety of different formulas because each aspect of brain chemistry is unique. So if it's a one product that has maybe 5, 8, 9, 10 elements, however many elements might go into that formulation to get that will only be relative to one brain response. So what we did is we developed different products for different brain responses. So we all think of what is cognitive performance. It's not just one thing. It's a variety of things. And each one has a correlative neurochemistry. So if we can identify that neurochemistry, we can identify the products that would feed the brain exactly what it needs to create those neurotransmitters, and flood it now. And then, but tomorrow I want a different brain state. So I need a totally different set of neurochemicals than I did then.
Wow.
And then the next day for a different brain state. So we develop formulas for each one of those. And I can run through them really kind of just a general oversight if you like, and I can talk about it. So let me talk about Mental Reboot. This is something that we have an AM and a PM. This is designed to get rid of brain fog. It actually is a detoxification agent for your brain. So people feel like it's recharging, and that, when you wake up and you don't have that energy, people love the brain AM stack. Now, another product we called Upbeat. I call it positivity in the pill. You take this, what most people correlate this with, which is a boost in EQ. Okay, so you just feel better connected to people. You have better verbal fluency. And awesome aspect of it for some types, more of the acetylcholine serotonin pathway dominance. They find that this really improves learning and retention of information. Then you have Nectar X. This is one of my frame. It's fast. I'm sipping some right here. This turns your brain on in about 10 minutes. You sip it on an empty stomach, take about a quarter, mix it up with it's a powder. It looks like this. You mix it up in a liter of water.
Mm-hmm.
Mix it up, and I drink about a quarter of that. And then throughout the day, when I need another little hit on the brain side, I just take a couple of sips and I'm on. It's basically dopamine on demand. You're talking about this. I feel really activates creativity and productivity. And then focus savagery. Now that's one that Matt loves. He loves being hyper focused.
Mm-hmm.
And I call this like super motivation. This is when you need to, like, we just finished writing an 800-page book this year. So we've been doubling the company year on year, and we just finished an 800-page book. We released, I don't know how many products this year. We got another vast array. Well, how do we able to do this? We have these deep focus days where we just go into something maybe 8-10 hours straight, nonstop. And focus savagery helps us keep that kind of beast mode focus. We have Zamner juice. So when we're on the gas that hard, generally you want to chill out, and that's more of a GABA dominated product.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right. So this is kind of chill. And I used to take Matt to this tea shop at 05, and I drink this specialized GABA tea blend. We would drink it, and he loved this Zen state. And I'm like, this is GABA, dude. Right. And we would drink this, and we'd have these kind of long, lucid conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a lot of fun. That's got things like kava in it and B6 and some very interesting. It's a spray. So if you kind of get a little bit too jittery and you find yourself, oh no, you know what? I'm getting a little too cranked up here. And I'm a little bit harsh. A few sprays of the Zamner juice, and I start to regulate down. It's like, okay, I'm going to chill out here.
That's fast.
Then we have Apex. This is it's combination of focus and creativity in a pill, right? So basically it assists in neurogenesis as well as energy production and ideation, which is an interesting combo between dopamine and GABA. So you need to be lucid enough to creative, but focused on solving a particular problem. It's a very interesting neurochemistry. That's a really go-to for creative. Now, some people suffer with assertiveness. They're not very assertive. They can't speak up. They might have hard getting their ideas out. We developed a product called Power Solution. Some people call it Dominance on Demand. Now, I don't use very much Power Solution myself. I don't have problems expressing myself or asserting myself. Right. If I take this, chances I'm going to get in a fight, right? If I had to go fight someone, I would just drink a quarter liter of Power Solution, and in about 15 minutes, we're ready to go to war. Wow. But there's other people in our team that have a hard time expressing themselves. They love Power Solution.
I wonder if that translates to aggressiveness in the gym, and that's the reason I asked that. Well, because vocal disinhibition. We talked about this study in 2007 on the show. People who grunt tend to be 5 to 10% stronger than if they don't grunt. And the display of strength requires a level of disinhibition. Like people who like to be naked, they always want to be out there naked. Like they're disinhibited, right? And so there's a correlation between vocal disinhibition and disinhibition to display strength. That's why they go hand in hand. So what you're saying is, if this kind of takes the break off a little bit more on the inhibition factor in your life, then you probably would display strength better as well.
Yeah, if I'm going for a peak performance day in the gym, that's the only time I use Power Solution. Mm-hmm. I've got a heavy leg day coming up. I'll knock back a little bit of Power Solution, and away we go. And I can channel that disinhibition into drive and aggression that will support that. And we're not. That's here not for the feel good PC people. And then we have Reboot, Mental Reboot, which is a deep sleep brain enhancer. Helps you sleep. It's a liver detoxifier for the body. These are some of the formulations. We just came out with a new one, which is a GABA dominant one for people who like the feeling of alcohols, the social inhibition without the aggression. Mm-hmm. We just released that product. It's coming out. It just came out to our customers. And I'm going to tell you something. I have to warn people when they go to the site. Go take the test and find out about your brain chemistry. You'll love it. But when you order the product and you get it, I have to warn people. We have over an 80% subscription rate. No one's ever heard of that in direct response marketing or customers for a nutritional supplement. It's not inexpensive, but anybody who makes money from using their brain will quickly find that the Nootopia array of products are so powerful and so definitively effective in their lives that they will subscribe. You're going to subscribe to this. I'm going to tell you this right now, and I'm warning you.
You're not going to want to be out of it. You're not going to want to look for it and not have it.
Our biggest problem over the last year was managing the people literally calling us, screaming at us, and emailing us if there was any type of delay in the delivery of their product formulation because they didn't want to be out. That's not a marketing statement. I built the customer service systems for Bioptimizers and for Nootopia, and I take all of those responses personally because it's my job to make sure that we really take care of our people, and that's why we've had to move facilities 3 times to meet the demand under these current systems of distribution and challenges in the supply chain and stuff. We've been able to grow exponentially. We've literally, since we started, we 40x the company from where Mark, our partner, was a year ago. We 40x the company without any virtually no advertising.
That's amazing. If you're listening to the podcast, I'll tell you how to find out more. If you go to Nootopia.com/SHR and use the code SHR, you can save up to 50% off and even more if you decide to subscribe. So if you pay attention to the packages, you can actually get this stuff very inexpensively considering what you get. You literally get a nootropic laboratory in a box when you get it at home. And for those of you who geek out on that kind of stuff, I love that kind of stuff. I want to take one last break, and then I have a question about once somebody fine-tunes the product, I know that there's an app, it sounds like, involved. So let's talk about that when we come back. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more. You may be wondering why you're experiencing performance issues in the bedroom, but you're not alone. Over 30 million men experience a form of erectile dysfunction, and to many, it can feel defeating. Maybe you've tried pills, diets, exercise, but finally there's a proven solution. Meet Eddie, a discreet device designed to help men strengthen and maintain their erections. Pills can be costly and result in debilitating side effects, so I checked out Eddie by Giddy at shrnetwork.biz/Eddie and found out that over 95% of men experience positive results wearing Eddie, according to a 2021 clinical trial. This product simply works and is easy to use. Sign up for a subscription at shrnetwork.biz/Eddie and save $20 on your first device with promo code SUPER20. With free device resizes and 60-day guarantee, you'll be glad you tried it. Treat ED with Eddie at shrnetwork.biz/Eddie. That's EDDIE. Being superhuman means being conscientious about the choices we make. White Oak Pastures is superhuman when it comes to raising livestock. They're committed to animal welfare, land regeneration, and rural revival. They responsibly manage the entire process from the pasture to your doorstep. High quality, pasture raised, great tasting meat from a farm you can trust. Full nose to tail selections. They even have options for your pet. Go to shrnetwork.biz/white oak and use the code SUPERHUMAN to save 10% off your entire first order. C60, also known as Buckminster fullerene, is the most powerful, most versatile antioxidant in the world. It's been shown in studies to double the lifespan of rodents. We all know the importance of taking antioxidants to slow aging, reduce inflammation, and improve mitochondrial function and energy production. But there are literally hundreds of antioxidants that would cost you thousands of dollars to take every day. I take one. I take C60 from C360 Health. Revive and Rejuvenate are 2 blends that harness the power of C60. Don't waste another minute. Go to shrnetwork.biz/revive and use the code SHR for 15% off and free shipping inside the United States today. Remember those rectangular toaster pastries you used to love when you were a kid? Well, Legendary Foods has just made them better. The new cake-style tasty pastry is like nothing you've ever had before. With 20 grams of high-quality protein and less than 1 gram of sugar, you'll feel like you're cheating, but you're not. Go to shrnetwork.biz/legendary and use the code SHR10 to save 10% off your purchase of tasty pastries. Now available in cookies and cream, red velvet cake, birthday cake, blueberry, strawberry, brown sugar cinnamon, and hot fudge sundae. Go to shrnetwork.biz/legendary and use code SHR10 today. Are you 35 or older? Every year after puberty, your growth hormone decreases sometimes by 50% by the age of 35, and it only keeps going down from there. This affects everything from making it harder to recover from workouts, sleep, and a general loss of a sense of well-being. It also affects your ability to get and stay lean. BioPro Plus is the first of its kind, 100% non-synthetic alternative to prescription synthetic growth hormone treatments. All the benefits without any of the needles or side effects and 100% safe. Previously only available through doctors, you can go to shrnetwork.biz/biopro, that's BIOPRO, and use code SHR30 for $30 off today. If you've listened to this show for any length of time, you know that I have struggled to give up coffee for years. Coffee has destroyed my gut and it's impaired my health. Well, I haven't had coffee in months thanks to a product called Magic Mind. Magic Mind is the first nootropic blend I actually feel working. One shot and I'm good all day long. My memory is crystal clear and I'm able to function and have great focus without coffee or caffeine for that matter. If you want to try a product that really works, if you're like me and you want to give up coffee forever, or you just need something occasionally that will help you lift the brain fog, Magic Mind is your product. I promise you that this product you will feel when you use it. Go to shrnetwork.biz/Magic Mind, all one word, and use the code SHR for a whopping 20% off your first order.
Spit that out right now. This is the Superhuman Channel.
Welcome back. This is a very exciting product. If anybody out there feels like they want their brain to work better, and who doesn't? I mean, that's like saying who wants to live past tomorrow? Like, who's not going to say me? But really, this is obvious to me, at least, the problem with nootropics out there. There are lots of blends where they put 600 different things in 12 capsules, but it doesn't. It's a shotgun blend. It's like, well, some people respond to this, some people respond to that, some people respond to that. Let's just put all that in one capsule. And the problem with that is the people who don't respond to this, or let's say the people who do respond to this, but don't respond well to that, that could cancel out the effects of the first agent. Remember, because brain function is like a multi-directional tug of war, you know, and the neurochemicals are the rope, and your brain wants to do something, and that other rope is pulling in the wrong direction and you just can't do it. That was a pretty good analogy. My brain must be working today. But tell me how people modify. So let's say I get my first kit, which is going to be on its way. And I start using the different things and I like this and I don't like that. You said that there's an app where I can report in my experience with each of these products?
That's right. So what we do is you'll download an app. You'll get a QR code right inside the box. Okay, so it looks kind of like this. You'll see that.
Right.
You'll scan that in, or you can download the app, but this will correlate with the form that you filled out. And then you'll enter in, you'll get this little app part, and then you'll begin your journey. The journey will take you through step by step that you experiment with each one of these products, and you can put in the information that you respond to it. And what will happen is you'll probably find 3 or 4 products out of the initial 8 that we send you that you'll say, these are absolutely great. Then there'll be 2 that'll be, that's okay. And maybe 2 that you hate, okay, based on your brain chemistry. No problem. You will speak with an agent from our company or text it in. You'll say, I'd like a little bit more stimulation, this, a little less on that. I would like to have more of this product and less of that product. So you literally, not only you tweak your formulation, you tweak how many of each thing that you get so that you get the full month of the brain performance that you want.
Right.
And then you go through the second month and you kind of refine that process again. And by the third month, you have got not only your individualized brain chemistry, you've got the customization from our neurochemists to get your specifics, but now you know which products that you like to take in combination for different states. And then maybe 3 more months down the road, you're like, oh, you know what? I tried that product that I didn't like before, but now I really like it for this. I'd like to have some more of that, because now you've filled up your reserves and you can access brain states that you didn't have before. So this is the thing that shocked me. As I was on the product for longer and longer, I now had capabilities that I didn't have prior to. And that was remarkable, because I thought, what could potentially happen over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years by being able to allow people to dial up a whole array of emotional and psychological experiences and capabilities that they didn't think that they had access to. And I think if you combine that with neurofeedback physiological training by changing the axon and dendrites, which we are doing ourselves, and we are hoping to go a next step in the near future around that to assisting people, I think this is the evolutionary change that we need to deal with a technologically advanced world. And we're excited, and I'm excited to offer Nootopia to your listeners. It's my first time talking about it on radio. It's on your show, Carl, because you've been such a great supporter of our brand, and vice versa. So go to the site, check it out, take the test. And if you're not absolutely blown away, like everything else we do at Bioptimizers, after your very first month on Nootopia, we'll give you all of your money back if this isn't the greatest thing since sliced bread, the best thing for your brain, the whole enchilada. No risk, no muss, no fuss. It's free if you don't absolutely love it, but I'm confident you're going to love it.
Wow, that's a hell of an endorsement by a company that they trust their product. I mean, that is, and I don't know any other sponsor that does that, by the way. Just for those sponsors out there, no questions asked, completely refund your money, even the shipping. It's ridiculous. Nobody does that. All right, so go to Nootopia.com, Nootopia.com/SHR. Use the code SHR, and you can save up to 50% off. And if you subscribe, you'll save even more money off. And like everything Bioptimizers does, it works. They do the research. They don't just look at some abstract and go, oh, this supplement does that. Let's just put it in capsules and sell it to people. And some won't like it. Some will. Who cares? Bioptimizers works for years before they release anything. And there's a reason for that, because they don't want people buying product. They want people loving product. And it's a very, very big motivation there. Wade, I'm excited. I am very excited to get mine. I hope that it changes me back. I'll tell you something else real quick, real fast. There's a lot of guys out there, and we talked about this not too long ago on the show, who have erectile dysfunction that has nothing to do with anatomical problems with their penis, but the lack of dopamine. The reason I gravitated to cocaine as a young man is because cocaine is a dopamine reuptake inhibitor. So it floods your brain with dopamine, and you just feel like fantastic. You want to talk. You're having a good time. Your libido is raging. That's dopamine. And as we get older, I can attest to you that dopamine doesn't seem as readily available in my brain, and maybe some of it is because I've crushed my brain by using excessive amounts of caffeine, which is known to stimulate dopamine. But I am so excited about this product right now that I will be talking about it as soon as I get it on the air. I can assure you of that. Thanks for being here today, brother.
Yes, my pleasure. And I look forward to our next connection after you've been able to play around with us. It's going to be great.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. All right, we'll talk soon. Take care, Wade. And to all of you, that's the last show. Today is Friday. We will see you next week with more Superhuman Radio. Don't forget, share the show. Anytime you share the show, you run the risk of helping someone. Imagine that. You helping someone else by sharing a show. Okay, we'll see you Monday. Take care.
Move over, superheroes. This is the Superhuman Channel.